Hey everyone, it's Eagle of Zeus here, and I'm back with another video today. So this video is gonna be about my pagan history before Hellenism, before I became a Hellenic polytheist. I've talked a bit about it in the past, like in my videos, like how I became a Hellenic polytheist. I did talk a bit about my my past before Hellenism, like my pagan path before Hellenism, but I was thinking about it more earlier tonight, and I just kind of felt like making a video kind of going more in depth about my pagan history before Hellenism. So when so honestly, I like to say that I like to say I've been pagan my whole life because even back when I identified as Christian because it was what I was taught, I never truly believed it, like in my heart. Like when I would go to church with my grandparents and they would do like the praying, I would never really pray. I mean, I would close my eyes like everyone else, but my head would be just empty. I never actually prayed to the Christian God. And I remember I forgot how old I was, but I want to say it was maybe when I was in middle school. I don't really remember, but I remember saying that I I worship the earth, like I worship Mother Earth, and I did believe in like what I called like the old gods from like mythology, like the mythology gods. Um, but I didn't know that that belief had like a name, I guess. So technically, I mean, I've been pagan even before I knew what paganism was. Uh, but when I like actually discovered paganism and I instantly knew it was for me, um, I actually identified as Celtic pagan. So when I first found paganism and first became pagan, I called myself Celtic pagan, even though I never worshipped or connected with the Celtic pantheon. That's the funny part. I identified as Celtic pagan when I first became pagan, but yet I never connected with the Celtic pantheon. I've only ever connected with the Greek pantheon. And so I was calling myself Celtic pagan when like I said, didn't even connect with the Celtic pantheon. I was actually still praying to the Greek gods. Like I remember praying to Zeus and calling myself Celtic pagan. And I was thinking more about that earlier, why I called myself Celtic pagan when I was more like when I was actually connected with the Greek pantheon, why I called myself Celtic pagan. And I realized it's because back when I was in high school, when I discovered paganism, I was really into like Celtic stuff. Like I was really like hyper fixated on Arthurian legends and like Avalon and I was just really into like everything like Arthurian, and I was into like Celtic music, like Celtic Woman, and I think her name's Lorena McKennitt, I think. She was in the movie Mists of Avalon. I was super obsessed with that movie, and I was super obsessed with the TV show Merlin, and I was just super into like Arthurian stuff. And to me, like Arthurian stuff was Celtic. I'm not exactly sure how true that is now, but since the Arthurian legends, I think, originated in England, um, and I think, well, I know the Celts were pretty widespread, but I'm not really entirely sure now if the Arthurian stuff is actually considered Celtic or not. But back then, to me, it was Celtic, and I wanted to be like a part of that. I guess to me, that was paganism. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but to me back then, when I thought paganism, I thought like that, like Celtic paganism, or I don't know, but that's what I wanted to be, basically. So I called myself Celtic pagan, and I was also really into like Celtic like symbols like the pentagram, the triskel, the triquetra, and like the Celtic knotwork and stuff like that. So I was just really into Celtic stuff. And so that's why I identified as Celtic pagan, even though I was technically worshiping the Greek gods, and I only really felt a connection with the Greek pantheon. So yeah, so I started off Celtic pagan, and I was Celtic pagan for about 5 years, and then I decided to become Wiccan because I felt Wicca was more what I was looking for at the time. Like it was more like earth based and nature based and like nature focused. Because I was always, and I still am, I've always really been really connected with nature and the earth, and that's kind of what I was looking for at the time, was a really like earth and nature based religion, or type of paganism. So I became Wiccan because I felt like that was more what I was looking for at the time. And when I became Wiccan, I called myself eclectic Wiccan, but I was mainly Hellenic and Celtic Wiccan, I guess. Um, because I that honestly, when I became Wiccan, that is when I started to kind of uh I guess do more like deity work, I guess. Because when I identified as Celtic pagan for 5 years, I never actually, I mean, I did pray, like, do like informal prayers sometimes, uh, but I never did any rituals or anything. And when I became Wiccan, that's when I started getting more into like deity work and stuff like that. And I really started to connect with the Greek gods more, but still no Celtic gods. Even though I identified as Hellenic and Celtic Wiccan, I still never connected with the actual Celtic pantheon. Um, anyway, so when I was Wiccan, yeah, was like Hellenic Celtic Wiccan, and I was Wiccan for about 2 years, I think, and then, like I've said in a previous video, I left Wicca and I was like eclectic neo pagan. I called myself eclectic neo pagan, so I was kind of Hellenic Celtic neo pagan for a few months while I was searching for like a religion. Like I think I was searching for like my true religion or something. Like I don't know. I was searching for the religion that was really right for me, and that's when I found Hellenism. And yeah, it was like coming home. I mean, this definitely is my religious home, but anyway, so that's kind of my history, like, of being pagan, like, all of the various paths I've taken to get here to Hellenism. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that I've I've always prayed to the Greek gods, even when I identified as Celtic pagan. And, well, when I was Wiccan, like I said, I did call myself Hellenic Wiccan, but before that, when I was calling myself Celtic pagan and I was praying to Zeus, yeah. But even before that, like even before I discovered paganism, and I prayed to like what I called like Mother Earth and Father Sky, and looking back on it, I kind of feel like Father Sky is Zeus. So I was still praying to Zeus even as a child before I even discovered paganism. So I don't know. That's why I feel like I was born pagan. Like this is like the path that I'm naturally drawn to. Even though I was taught Christianity as a child, it never I never believed it in my heart. I never felt it in my heart. And when I would, like I said, go to church with my grandparents or pray with my grandparents, I never truly prayed to that God. So I feel like I've always been pagan in a way. Um, and even now, and something else I realized earlier when I was thinking about it, even now I'm still kind of Celtic in a way, because even though, I mean, Hellenism is my religion, like Hellenic Polytheism is my religion, but I'm actually also a druid. I'm into druidry. But for me, druidry is not a religion, it's a spiritual practice. And it's very, of course, nature and earth centered and earth based, and it's really focused on nature, and it originated with the Celts, so it is like a Celtic path, like a Celtic practice. So even now, even now, I'm still Hellenic Celtic in a way, because I'm Hellenic Polytheist and a Druid. So I just kind of thought about that earlier. I kind of had a realization, like, I'm still in a way Hellenic and Celtic, because, like I said, I'm Hellenic Polytheist and a Druid. So, and Druidry is a Celtic. It originates with the Celts. It's a Celtic practice. So, yeah, I just realized that earlier. So it's kind of interesting. But anyway, all right. So I guess that's it. I just kind of wanted to talk about my pagan path before Hellenism. Kind of go into more detail about it. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Um, but yeah, I'm very happy with Hellenism, of course. This definitely is my religious home. Hellenic polytheism is definitely my religious home. And like I said, when I when I decided to become a Hellenist, it was really like a homecoming, kind of like my whole life had been leading to that or something. Every every spiritual path I took, or every step I took, was leading to Hellenism. So, yeah, but I definitely found my religious home now. So, even though I mean, I definitely believe the Greek gods have been with me my whole life, even when I was a kid and I was being taught Christianity, but I I feel like the gods were still with me, like when I was obsessing over Greek mythology and stuff in school, and even outside of school. I've always loved Greek mythology, and yeah, I just feel like the Greek gods have always been with me and were leading me to Hellenism. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad I found my way here now. Well, I mean, I've been on this path for years now, but I'm glad I found my way there. um, yeah, so yeah, I guess that's it. I'm kind of rambling now. So, all right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video, and may the gods bless you all. Bye.